Hello, everyone. Thank you for watching. This is Chapter 3 of the Business Marketing Analysis Beginner's Guide. Today, we will discuss how to incorporate and brand power. Firstly, we start with one simple question. How is your brand doing? More specifically, what does the big picture of sales trends across the entire category want to tell you? And how can you assess the business performance of your company and brand based on such learnings? A quick answer is that you can follow the same analysis procedures described in Chapters 1 and 2. The only difference here is that you should focus on extracting useful insights for empowering your brand's position in the market. From now on, we will analyze the monthly sales figures from April 2022 to March 2024 of Brand A compared to competitive brands B and C in Segment A for the chocolate product category. Now let's look at the line graph showing monthly sales values for the three brands, A, B, and C. You can see that Brand A has established itself as the market leader with the largest sales. In second place is Brand B, but its sales have stagnated since May 2023. Brand C grew much in February, but continued a stagnant trend afterward. At this stage, it can be assumed that brands B and C have not posed any major threat to Brand A. Additionally, when the sales of brands B and C decline, the other brands tend to absorb that part and grow. Thus, it will be necessary to keep observing which brand may establish steady sales growth. Next, let's graph the sales share percentage to see how the power balance between each brand has changed over time. You can see that Brand A accounts for the largest proportion in the market, nearly 50%. Brand B maintained around 20% until October 2023, but its share has fallen afterward. Brand C's share has fluctuated around 10%, which might be influenced by other brands' performance. This raises a new question. What correlation is there between the trends and sales of each brand? So let's examine this using the correlation coefficient matrix explained in Chapter 2. Two main trends can be seen from this table. Number 1. Brand A has a strong negative correlation with both B and C. In other words, it directly competes for market share with these second and third brands. Therefore, the more competing brands perform well, the greater the risk of being negatively affected. Number 2. Brands B and C have a weak positive correlation, meaning that when sales of one increase, so do the other. However, both brands show a negative correlation trend with the other brands, indicating that it has to secure business amid a mixture of different small brands. As the highest priority, Brand A must continue to invest and take necessary actions to strengthen its position. It must constantly pay attention to the trends of competing brands and promptly respond to any risks. As for brands B and C, there are some signs that we need to keep an eye on. For example, could they grow synergistically with a consistent strategy by launching new products during the same period? If that happens, how much negative impact will Brand A suffer? And how will the market competition change? These issues will depend on product characteristics and differentiating factors by brand. You need to continue your observation and brain work to implement effective counteractions when necessary. So far, Brand A sales have been relatively stable, but it must continue to enforce its positioning, because it will be too late to take action once those competitors are triggered to achieve success together by leveraging any kind of new initiatives. Then, where are the opportunities for Brand A to drive healthy business growth? What can you do to achieve higher sales from a strategic business and marketing perspective? Let's go through these questions step by step to explore more insights that may provide sensible answers. Regarding the relationships between brand sales and category seasonality, Brand A has an extremely high value of 0.924, which is almost a perfect match. In other words, Brand A is the largest brand that accounts for nearly half of the total market sales, and therefore represents the entire category. On the other hand, brands B and C tend to earn extra sales during the April, July, and September-November periods. And it is confirmed that both brands B and C have relatively high correlations with category seasonality. 0.639 and 0.570, respectively. Now, here are the key points learned from these analyses. Firstly, Brand A needs to continuously watch out for Brands B and C, since there might be some halo effects on their sales in the spring and fall seasons. And this gives us a few additional questions. Do they have specialized products that may meet customer demands in spring and fall, except for winter? Or do they implement effective promotions to boost sales during those periods? Secondly, Brand A must be cautious about the timing to take appropriate counteractions, especially in February. If you lose customers this month, their interest is likely to shift to other brands, and in the worst-case scenario, such a small change may be unconsciously ingrained as a part of their lifestyle. Since we have already discussed how to analyze brand sales by segment and sales channel, let's spend a little more time thinking about what points should the analysis focus on, and what problems could arise if misinterpreted or misjudged. In many cases, a brand will have multiple product segments sold through different sales channels. A chocolate brand, for example, may include segments like traditional, innovative, and confectionery. Its sales channels include convenience stores, supermarkets, drugstores, and e-commerce, etc. Therefore, when making brand investment, you must consider the sales percentage and growth rate by each segment and by sales channel. Although this may sound very common, please keep this in mind to avoid the risks of having incorrect assumptions. Now, let's discuss a fictional brand strategy scenario in the fast-moving consumer goods industry. Please imagine the brand has decided to introduce a newly developed product. It offers a groundbreaking benefit, and the company is determined to bet its future on it, making a large-scale marketing investment. However, sales estimates are tough since it is a completely new type. Based on the rough sales requirements, it is clear that the current pricing would not be able to secure sufficient profits. Therefore, the company decided to sell this new product at twice the average price of existing products. Also, it finally allocated 80% of the brand marketing budget on this new product, while providing only 20% on the other products. So, what could happen as a result? It got off to a good start for the first few weeks by making customers excited with its unique benefits and novelties. However, half of those who bought it decided not to repurchase because they thought it was not worth paying double the price. The original expectation was that sales of the brand's existing products would be able to be maintained, but the decreased marketing support caused less interest from sales channel partners to sustain sufficient in-store visibility. The company hastily renegotiated with them, but the progress was slow due to the pre-aligned deals before the new product launch. After 6 months, the brand's overall sales began to decline significantly. The brand team calculated the additional investment required to restore total brand sales and found that it would be approximately 3 times the level before the new product launch. It's a pity. This story could go on, but I guess that's enough to describe what happened. Although we are using this case as an analogy, this is based on a reality across many categories and brands. It certainly tells us that the idea of concentrating investments on a new product is understandable, but it should be done in the context of maintaining a broad perspective and actionable ideas for the whole brand's business growth. To do so, you must properly understand the capacity of business scales you can secure by each segment and sales channel. Now, here are just quick recaps since we already covered in chapters 1 and 2. First, you can use these simple formulas for CDI and BDI by region to review the past geographical sales performance. Second, to investigate how various factors influence your objective variable, such as brand sales value, the correlation analysis can easily answer your questions and assumptions. Then, finally, let's organize those learnings using SWOT analysis. By summarizing them in this one chart, it becomes easier for everyone to understand Brand A's current strengths and weaknesses, as well as possible future opportunities and threats for its healthy business growth. A key tip is that the more concise and clear it is, the more powerful and applicable ideas may arise. That is all for today. If you have any questions or thoughts, please post them in the commentary section of our YouTube channel. In the next video, we will talk about how to dig deeper into human insights, including a customer experience journey. We look forward to seeing you again. Thank you for watching.